Touch the leg and welcome to Tibet This Week, where we bring you weekly news edition on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's have a look at today's headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama making rapid progress after knee replacement. Personal physician updates. Second International Tibet Youth Forum concludes in Dharamshala. Sikyong calls for unified efforts in advocating for Tibet. Central Tibetan Administration holds 6 project coordination committees meeting on capacity building and sustainability initiative program. Sikyong Tsering and Speaker Khenpo Sonam Tenphel condoles the demise of Chief Minister Pema Khandu's mother. Sikyong congratulates Nima Gyaltsen on being appointed for the Order of Canada Award. Advocacy Officer of Bureau de Tibet in Brussels enlightens a group of young Tibetans on middle way approach policy. Office of Tibet, Taiwan celebrates 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Dr. Gyalo, a leading expert on Tibet's stolen children, visits Australia. On Thursday this week, in a video message that was published from the Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the personal physicians of His Holiness Dr. Tsering Sadhu Tsang and Dr. Tsawang Tamting announced on the 5th day after his knee replacement surgery. The doctor said His Holiness is currently rapidly recovering post his knee surgery and he is mobile and working with the help of physical therapy exercises and doing well with the medication. Furthermore, the doctor said His Holiness is likely to move to a more peaceful place outside of New York soon for his recuperation. On Wednesday this week, the Department of Information and International Relations of Central Tibetan Administration commenced the 2nd International Tibet Youth Forum, a hallmark initiative of the 16th Kashak in Dharamshala that brought together over 100 Tibetan youths representing diverse educational and professional backgrounds from more than 13 countries. The inaugural session of this 3-day seminar from 3rd to 5th July was honored by the presence of Sikyong Tsering, the democratically elected leader of the Central Tibetan Administration, followed by Secretary Kamaching and Additional Secretary Tenzin Lekshe from the DIR. Sikyong Tsering during his address spoke on the benevolent and lifelong contributions of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in resolving the long-standing Tibet-China conflict and CTA's policy of middle way approach. Apart from that, as part of his keynote speech, Sikyong Tsering spoke about the VTAC's increasing impact over the last 3 years and commended all active members for their efforts. He said CTA has prioritized inclusiveness of all sections of our community in the Tibetan freedom struggle and therefore encouraged others to take part in the journey of VTAC, which he referred to as the People's Movement. Over the course of 3 days, Kasutempa Tsering, Putila Karpoche, member of the Provincial Parliament of Parkdale, High Park, Canada, Namge Gesho Tsang, mayor of Otteville MC, Switzerland, Geshe Laudor, director of the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives, Namki, a former Tibetan political prisoner, Franz Masner, director of Government Relations, International Campaign for Tibet, Tenzin, strategist and senior researcher of Tibet Action Institute, Kama Lekshe, director of the Tibetan Center for Conflict Resolution, Topjo Tsuldim, communication coordinator of the Student for Free Tibet, and Tenzin Yangzum, campaign coordinator of International Tibet Network, spoke on various topics concerning Tibet advocacy. The 6th Project Coordination Committee meeting for the US aid funded by CTA Capacity Building and Sustainability Initiative Program was held at the Nobulinga Institute in the presence of Sikyong Tsering as chief guest on 27th June. The CTA-CPSI program aims to strengthen CTA's leadership and planning and improve the management systems of the CTA and settlement institutions. Sikyong Tsering in his keynote address emphasized the importance of strategic planning and self-sufficiency in the CTA's programs, further stressed the significance of IT and HR development, calling for the establishment of comprehensive database across all departments and the importance of uniform reporting and the need for effective service delivery and decision-making process within the CTA. This day-long meeting was also attended by representatives from US aid, India, Raja Rani Thakuria, project management specialists, along with Central Tibetan Administration's departments, secretaries, additional secretaries, staff members of the Social Resource Development Fund, and partners from various organizations. On Monday this week, Sikyong Penpa of the Central Tibetan Administration condoles the demise of Chief Minister Pema's mother on behalf of the Tibetan people. In the condolence letter, Sikyong Penpa offered his thoughts and prayers with the CM's family and said the Tibetan people hold him in high regard and that we share his grief during this difficult time. On Tuesday this week, Khenpo Sonam Tenphel, the Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in exile, also extended his deepest condolences to Sri Pema, Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, on the sad demise of his mother. On the behalf of Tibetan Parliament in exile and Tibetans around the world, the Speaker offered his prayers to his family during this incredibly challenging time and offered prayers for the peaceful journey of her soul and rebirth. On Wednesday this week, Sikyong Penpa of the Central Tibetan Administration wrote a letter to Nima Gyaltsen, a Tibetan resident from Calgary, Canada, to congratulate him on being appointed for the Order of Canada, the highest level of distinction award in Canada. In the letter, Sikyong, on behalf of the Central Tibetan Administration, extended his congratulations on his well-deserved recognition and said this honor underscores his exceptional contributions to advancing educational opportunities, particularly through his transformative leadership at the University of Calgary's Sulich School of Engineering internship program. Furthermore, Sikyong apprised his leadership as the president of Project Tibet Society, which has been instrumental in the successful resettlement of over 1,000 Tibetans in Canada. Advocacy officer Tenphel from the Bureau of Tibet in Brussels attended a workshop in Antwerp on 29 June to raise awareness among the group of 28 Tibetan youths on Central Tibetan Administration and its policy of middle way approach. The workshop also included discussions on Tibet advocacy and campaign organizations. In addition, a young participant representing the regional VTAG introduced the group and briefed the gathering on its undertakings in Belgium. He further implored other youngsters to join the group. The workshop was organized by Belgium-based Regional Global Tibetan People's Movement for Middle Way Approach. On June 30, the Office of Tibet, Taiwan celebrated the 19th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama at the Chindan Youth Activity Center in Taipei. The event was attended by a diverse group of guests, including Gyaltsen Monastery Khenpo Changchup Sangye, former Taiwan parliamentarian Yu Mei-nu, member of the board of the Office of Tibet, Taiwan, Hong Ru, and president of the Tibetan Association of Taiwan, Tsering, along with about 500 Taiwanese friends and Tibetans. During the celebration, Representative Kesa Gezebawa shared information about His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 4 commitments, his relationship with his Taiwanese followers, and Taiwan's policy changes to facilitate movements for Tibetans. Additionally, over the last month, the Taiwan Tibetan Buddhist Association and the Gyaltsen Monastery Association organized another celebrations on the occasion of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday. Similar pre-celebration of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday was held in Aarschot, Belgium. The celebration organized by the Dome Association of Belgium saw the presence of special guests Geshe Lungdo Gendun, Director of Tibetan Translation and Research Institute, and Chief Guest Tile Wangdu, Secretary of the Bureau of Tibet, Brussels. On Tuesday this week, Dr. Gyalo, a leading expert on the Chinese government's assimilation and education policies in Tibet, visited Office of Tibet, Canberra. He was accompanied by Tibetan parliamentarian Lobsang Gyatso Siddhar and his colleague Doji Pinzo from the Digital Security of Tibet Action Institute. During his week-long visit, Dr. Gyalo will be meeting several senior politicians, policymakers and members of Parliamentary Friends of Tibet to share his insights on the system of Chinese colonial-style boarding schools in Tibet, which is a core element of the Chinese Communist Party's systematic effort to co-opt, undermine and ultimately eliminate Tibetan identity in an attempt to neutralize Tibetan resistance to Chinese rule. Dr. Gyalo will also attend a public talk organized by Australia-Tibet Council and Amnesty International Australia at Sydney and will attend a seminar hosted by Tibet Information Office with Chinese experts and scholars on topic Sino-Tibet relations in the post-Xi Jinping era. That is all the news for this week's edition of Tibet This Week. Thank you so much for watching.